So hello everyone, today we'll be looking at tables. Like I said in our previous class, I'm going to talk about tables today. So tables are, like the name implies, they are tables. And what are tables? Tables is just a structured way of presenting information in rows and columns. That's basically the idea of tables, and there's a very, very vast range of use for tables, right? So tables is very important. We need to know how to create them using our HTML structure or HTML language. So basically, an HTML table is defined with the table tag. So if you can remember when we talked about list, I said the list was defined with the OL or UL tag. It's the same way. When we are creating our HTML table, the table is defined with the table tag, meaning everything for a table is inside that table tag. It starts and ends with the table tag. So each table row is defined with the TR tag, meaning table row, basically, as the name implies, right? So each table row is defined by TR tag. So when you want to create a row, you use the TR tag. And a table header is defined with the TH tag. By default, table headings are bold and centered. A table data cell is defined with the TD tag. Alright, so let's go ahead and practicalize this and see what it looks like. Because I'm more of a practicalizing person. I like to test it out and see how it works rather than keep hearing something over and over again. So let's go to our text editor, the Sublime Text. Then create a new file. Specify HTML down below. Then basic HTML file structure calls tables. So come to the body now, and want to create our table, right? So if let me write the header first. Tables in HTML, so that's clear what you're working on. So you want to create a table. Like I said, the table tag is the root of your HTML table, so we have to put that first, and every other thing will be inside it. So once we have our table tag, the next thing we want to do is to specify each row, right? So tables are made up of rows and columns. So how do we specify that? We use the TR tag. So now we are simply saying anything that we put inside this TR tag is a row. Treat it as such, and rows are listed horizontally, right? So now that we've specified a table row, how do we write the individual data points or the individual let's say information or list or whatever that will make up the table? Because tables can be anything. You can put text, you can put images, you can put videos, anything you choose to put, right? So we use the TD, table data, that's what it means, TD tag. And inside the TD tag, we'll just specify what we want it to be. So let's say row 1, column 1, column. So tables are a bit confusing, so I'll advise you to just wait for us to finish before you try doing anything, because you might get confused if you don't really pay attention. So copy this, paste it. So we have row 1, column 2, because they are all on the same row. Remember, I'll put it inside the TR tag. That's specifying that everything that comes inside this tag is on the same row. They are not on the same column, but they're on the same row. So each table data now specifies the column, right? So we have that. Let's write another row. And we have TD. And we'll say row 2, column 1. Then paste this, changes to row 2. Right, so let's go ahead and save this and see what it looks like. Tables. Perfect. You can see that we have row 1 and row 2, and we also have column 1. Everything on this side is column 1, and everything here is column, okay, there's a mistake, column 2. So I wrote column 1, column 2. Yeah, so everything here is column 2. So let's say we want to add a border around our table, because what we use borders to make it, sometimes it gets confusing, right? So to be able to define clearly that this is here, okay, this is here, we use the border. And you can see how you add the border here. It's very simple. Just use the border attribute name and specify a value. The value is just the thickness of the border. So put the attribute inside our table tag, right? Border 1. We'll save this, refresh, and we have a border around everything, right? So you can clearly see it. That's basically how we write tables. Then there's also something called table head. I believe they talked about it here. So let's add a table head. Let's see what it will do. So let's say I add a table head here. See what it looks like. First, right, so let's save this. You see, we have a table head here. Then let me add another table head here. CH second row. Save that up and refresh. So you see just how they said it to be displayed. It's bold and it's also centralized, right? It's not starting from the left, it's not starting from the right, it's just in the middle. There's equal space to the right and left, right? So that's table head. Let's see. Table row. So basically, I just added that so that we can clearly see how rows and columns are defined in HTML. So Let me just make it capitalized. Great. So as you can see, there's the first row, there's the second row, then there's the first column, and there's the second column. Now the space there might be a bit confusing to you, but I just ideally there are 3 rows here, but when we are displaying the content to the user, of course, sometimes you want to do something like this where there's a space here, right? So I just added it so that you know how we do it. It's not complicated, you just leave a space. So if you can take a pause now, just look at this, you understand how tables work. A TR specifies the row, so we have 3 rows. Then any individual element inside the TR is treated as a column. So this empty TH here is one column that aligns with this first row here. They are all on the same column, and this second row, they are all on the same column. Then we have the second element here. It's on the same column with this and also this. Then the third element here is on the same column with this and this. So that's basically how tables work, right? It might be a bit confusing at first, but with practice you'll get it. Just know that table rows is what we specify with the TR. Then each element is treated as a new column inside the table row. So let me try and add one more thing. Perfect. So what I just added now is what we call a caption, and what a caption does is to just give like a small heading or a description to your table, and it's usually written just above the table. So anytime you want to create a table and you want to add just a small text that will be close to the table to tell people what the table is like or what is in the table, that's what we use caption for. So I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted us to cover today. Okay, then now we can go ahead and try out the example. We have an example here, example 5, adding a table. So we'll go ahead and try and replicate this. So we will not focus on this other part because we've already done most of this. This is just a heading, then this is links, then the heading again, then the text that is italicized or slanted, then we have links and links. We've already done this, so I'm pretty sure everyone here knows how it works. So we'll focus on the table, right? So let's go ahead and start. So just come down here and write H2 probably example 4. Then we'll create our table here. So everything will be inside here, and the first thing we will specify, okay, does our table have a border? It doesn't, so there's no need to specify a border, but it has a caption, and the caption says opening hours for the example cafe, right? There's no need to add whatever that is. Caption opening hours for the example cafe. Right, so we've gotten our caption. The next we have to specify the headings, right? We know they are headings because they are bold and they are in the center, right? There's equal space to the right and to the left. So what we have are the 7 days of the week. So we can go ahead and just specify the tr. Now just type this out. Okay, great. So we have the 7 days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you are confused about this space, the reason why I added it is because if you can look closely here, there is a space, right? So that tells us that there's a space here that we have to add in our HTML. So moving on, we have the other. Let's go ahead and specify the other rules. So type it out. Table page. Okay, so that's it for breakfast. Then we have for lunch. Right, so that's pretty much everything. That's everything, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So everything checks out, right? So let's save this and reload our web page. We should get this table here. We should get this table. So let's refresh. Perfect. So see, it wasn't so hard. All we had to do was write down some text. We have the opening hours. Opening hours is here. We have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all bold and centralized Monday. Then we have breakfast, lunch, and the time. Alright, so we can add a border, although I'm not a fan of borders, so but we can add a border here and just say 2. Save it. And 5. Okay, no, not here. Here. So this makes it easier for you to see the demarcations and everything. So yeah, that's pretty much how we create tables using HTML. Simple, a bit tricky, but with practice I'm sure you get it right. You don't have to beat yourself up for not getting it the first time. So it takes practice as with anything with coding, right? You have to keep doing it and keep doing it before you eventually master it, right? So yeah, that's it for this week. This is the last thing we'll be talking about this week, I believe. So from next week we will go into and if you guys need the source code of all these things, although I don't think it's necessary because you should be able to do it, it's not a lot, but if you do need it, you can reach out to me on the group or privately on WhatsApp and I'll send it to you. There's these documents that we've been working on. Any one of them you want, I can just send them to you. Right, so this is the latest one, tables. So next week we'll be looking at images and video. So we'll look at how to add images to our HTML documents and videos. So do well to do some research, watch a couple of videos just to have an idea of how to do it right. So see you all in the next one.